Yo, what is going on, guys? And today I'm going to show you why actually taking less profit for a card might make you more money in the long term. Now, I know that sounds kind of weird and might even sound fake to you guys, but let me just explain, okay? So, let me make my camera small real quick, and here, let's get into the video. So, let's just say you buy a card and it just follows this pattern, okay? Which most things do. And so it follows this pattern. There we go. Now I know what you're thinking, what is this? So let me explain. So this is what's called an S-curve. And so obviously we want to buy here and sell right here. Okay, so this is just price. So what this line is just the movement of the price. So basically, like, let's just say the lowest a card will ever be is, let's just say $100. And then the highest price it'll be is, let's just say 200 to keep it simple, okay? So obviously what we want to do is buy right here and sell right here, okay? But obviously it doesn't work like that all the time, unless you're me. But let me show you how this graph can actually help you make way more money doing cards or business or whatever it is you're doing. Let me just show you how this can help you. So in cards, we would obviously want to buy here and then sell here, so we can say, oh, we sold for double, you know, and our returns are going to be 100%, which is really good. But that might actually be hurting you, because the time it takes from it to get to 100 to 200 might be like a long time. Like, let's just say it takes 2 months for this card to reach double. Well, in that time you could have flipped it for, let's just say right here. So let's say that's 2 weeks instead, and it's just 30%. So the price would be 130, and then you could have moved that into something else. So instead of just going from 100 to 200 in that span of 2 months, you could have sold it from 100 to 130 in that 2 weeks. And then what you could have done is use that money and bought another card that was, let's say, here and at 130, and let's just say that the highest peak for that card is going to be 260, double again. But instead you just sell right here instead, let's just say for another 30%. So that means that card would have been $169, and let's just say that was 2 weeks. And then, you know, you just keep going and going and going, right, until you can get up to like whatever, a few thousand. It doesn't really matter. What you end with will be exponentially more than what you started with. Let's just say, like, with these expensive cards, it makes sense to hold these long term, because let's just say we bought a card for like $100,000 and the potential for it is, I don't know, 200,000 in like a year. Well, for this, it might be worth holding it for that long, because $100,000 gain is actually, you know, worth holding. Like, you'd have to be really lucky, because in these higher end markets, long term wins, but in this short term, like, or in these smaller cap cards, like let's say 2012 Kawhi Prism, okay? So let's just give you the Kawhi Prism is 3,000, and you know, it wasn't always 3,000, obviously it was lower, but let's just start right here. I mean, realistically it's probably like right there or whatever. And the peak, who knows, maybe like, we'll just use last time's peak, which was about 6,500, I want to say. And so we're just playing within this range, because current market price, and then I would just say the last peak, because I know it could reach there potentially. But I think this is an undervalued card, and let's just say this could reach to 6,500 in maybe the playoffs, and let's just say they beat the Lakers, Nuggets, whoever, and Kawhi has a great series, and you know, let's just say the price shoots up all the way to 65. That's the max, right? And so I could wait that long, but I think the playoffs start in what, April or May, and so that would be, and today's March 7th, so that would be a timeline of like close to 1 to 2 months. And so instead, what I could do is, I think this card's gonna shoot up a little bit, so it's probably gonna shoot up to, let's just say, 4K, and so that's $1,000 or 33% right there that I could just get, and then put it into some other card that's like 4K. I don't know, like, it just depends on what's available at the time. And so, you know, I could do that, and then 2 weeks again, just sell it for, let's say, 5,200. I don't know. Let's just say the same gain, and then just keep going. But I think you guys get the point. You know, you just want to keep scaling up slowly but surely, instead of just trying to hit these like super home run gains. Like, you see people talking about how they bought a card for, let's say, $100, now it's worth $1,500, and this and that. Instead, just use these like steady base hits, and eventually you'll grow up to like a huge portfolio. Similar with stocks. And so you can definitely play the long game. It's just you'll make a good return, but your dollar amount may not be as high. Or long term is good, if you're just doing a high dollar card, as opposed to these like mid cap, which are super liquid, and then the price movement's not much since there's so many of them. So if the price does increase, it's only by a little bit every time. And so to just illustrate this point again, we can use the Kawhi card, and let's just say we're using current market price of 3K, and then the max is 6,500. Okay, so right here, and let's just say it settles at 6K. All right, and so right here, let's just say this is what's going to be in 2 weeks. So it'll be 4K. I mean, I'm not saying this is going to happen. This is just, for the example. So this is going to be 4K in 2 weeks. So that's 33% in 2 weeks. All right. As opposed to, getting there in 2 weeks and then waiting however long it's going to take to get to here. So that's 2 months. And so what you could do between that 1 month and 2 weeks time period between this is just keep flipping and flipping and flipping to where your overall, card portfolio is just way more than 6,500. So instead you could just sell at 4K, buy a 4K card, then flip for, let's just say 5K, and then flip that, and then buy a 5K card and just flip, all the way up. And within that time, you'll probably have like 10K, let's just say. I don't know if you're pretty good at this, if you watch my videos, right? And so let's just see where you'd be at in a year, because every 2 weeks, and then there's 52 weeks in a year, so that's 26, and then that's 110% of your initial investment, which is just a 10% gain. And so you'd be at, with a $3,000 investment, so let's just say starting off with this Kawhi, in 1 year you'd be at 35K if you just kept making these small gains and just being consistent with it, as opposed to just trying to hit like a huge home run. Because what most people will try to do is try to be like super ahead of the curve and try to get, like, let's just say a card that's right here at, let's just say $100, and then they'll try to sell it for like 10,000. I mean, there are cards that have done that. I'm sure you could have bought like a PSA 10 of a certain card back in, I don't know, 2015 maybe, or let's just say 2014, 2012, whatever. And today it might be worth 10K plus, like probably like a 2012 Prism Silver LeBron or something. You could have bought that for a couple $100 and then sold it for, $10, $20, $30,000 now, which is pretty good. That's like 100 extra money. But I think if you would have just kept flipping and flipping and flipping, so let's see, 2012 is when the Prism set came out. So let's just say 2012 to now, that's 9 years. And let's just do the math. And let's just say you start off with $100, okay? So as opposed to 26 weeks, that would have been 234 weeks, so that's 9 years. And let's just say a 10%, the market wasn't as hot, so let's just say 5%, all right? So I said that, let's just see a LeBron Prism Silver. All right, I couldn't find one, but let's just say the Prism Silver today is like 20K. So that's 200 extra money, okay? And let's just say that you could have bought one for $100. I'm not really sure, but so if you had just kept flipping at 5% every few weeks, then you would have had $9 million, which isn't really, I don't think that's very reasonable. And so let's just do like, let's just say you made 5% let's just say every month, right? So you would have had $30,000 today, or if you had just not flipped or done anything, you would have had $20,000, right? And obviously with long-term investing, you don't have to do as much work, but I think with flipping, you would do way more work, but your ROI will be way, way higher when comparing your like initial starting investment compared to now. And so that's it for the video. I hope I explained it well. If you're still kind of confused or have some questions, let me know in the comments below. And oh yeah, also in my last 2 videos, I said that these Michael Jordan cards I got were from a Space Jam promo set, which are wrong. And this one guy made sure to let me know that I was wrong. And so my apologies for that. I just thought that since it was like a Warner Brothers MJ thing with all the Looney Tunes characters, that it was actually from the Space Jam set. But turns out I was wrong, and it's just like another set by itself that's licensed by Nike and Warner Brothers. So I still think it's gonna be a good set based on the based on the same logic. It's just not directly associated with Space Jam. So my apologies for that. And yeah, just correct me when I'm wrong. It's, you know, it's a learning experience for me. But yeah, that's it for the video. Yeah, let me know what you think, and I'll see you.